So, Jess, why did you become a realtor?
I worked in various customer service jobs, so I wanted something a little bit more rewarding. Becoming a real estate agent, being able to help people find their forever homes or their investment homes, starter homes. It's very exciting, so a lot of fun.
Now, you've gotten off to a really good start in your real estate career. What has been the most rewarding part of this for you so far?
Helping people, especially like first-time home buyers, finding their first home. They're so excited. I'm so excited to help them. So it's a nice, rewarding part.
What is it that you think makes you different than other real estate agents?
I think that my various roles in customer service has helped me. So I like to ask a lot of questions and I want to know what I'm doing. So I think that helps a lot because I'm not going to steer people the wrong way. I'm going to make sure they have knowledgeable decisions and help them find the right home.
Last thing I'm going to ask you is, and I know these are words that you live by, but the mantra at CTBD Realty is?
People over paychecks and do the damn thing.
And that's what we do.
Clovercrest Media Group presents a CMG podcast, Keys to the City.
Keys to the city, baby. When you see us, so you know.
Crossed up by Kobe, little floater to Shaq, and then Shaq goes like this, and the rest is history. Pay attention. Don't tell me what to do, devil woman. But speaking of those Lakers, hold on, stun. But I didn't make my. I didn't make my. I said Denver's gonna win. Yeah, you did. You said that.
There's no other show like that. Clovercrest is doing great things right now.
Streaming everywhere.
The Giants are running New York like the Times as Danny is dropping all sorts of dimes. Saquon's thighs are ruining defenses' lives and Leonard Williams making opposing QBs feel him. Receivers think it's scary to line up across James Bradbury, and the Giants have a bright future led by Coach Judge, Jury, and Executioner. Tune in to Drawing About the G-Men every Wednesday at 6, live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Drawing About the G-Men, the Giants football podcast. I'm Big Jace, joined by Joe Aguirre, Sean Scanlon, and King Zay. And, I mean, I said it last week. I've been saying it. I mean, just that intro used to get me hyped. Now, just the way the Giants are going, the way the season's going, it's just disappointing. Good. Coach Judge, Joe Judge, has a bright future. No, he doesn't. But, I mean, let's get to the game. Giants, terrible loss, 34-10. I mean, I don't even want to watch the games anymore. I mean, I will because I love the Giants, but it sucks, man. I mean, and the Eagles, like, they got their revenge for the last game. And I had my friend texted me, Eagles fan. I always text him whenever the Giants play the Eagles. Whenever Saquon's healthy, I always say Miles Sanders will always be RB2 because he was behind Saquon at Penn State. But I mean, it did not look like that on Sunday, and it hasn't looked like that with Saquon. It's just a mess. I don't know, man. Joe, what do you think, brother?
Well, here's I guess my issue, and I said this today on Keys to the City. I feel like it bears repeating because I'm in a lot of Giants groups on Facebook and Twitter where these idiots point out all of the things that have gone wrong with the franchise as if they just noticed it today. It's generally a long-winded, idiotic rant of observations we've all made. And they'll say things like, if you agree with any of it, like you're an idiot or whatever. And to those people, I say, look, January 1st is coming up, 2022, new year, new you, get a therapist. Keep that crap out of Facebook groups, off your Facebook page. Stop your whining and your bitching. The Giants have been bad for a long time. Stop convincing yourself otherwise. Again, 4 one-off Super Bowls over a 35-year stretch is not the definition of success. This is a 6-10 team year in and year out. You get your occasional 7-9 or an 8-8. You get all excited. And then every now and again, you got to get a 4-12, and that's terrible too. And then you get a 10-6 and you win a Super Bowl. It's awesome, but that's Giants football. The problem is there's still no identity on this team. I don't know what the focal point of the offense is. It's not Saquon Barkley. I'm glad he wants to play the next couple games. I think Saquon should get 30 touches each of the next 2 games. I think you got to do one of 2 things. Build some value to him, show he can still be what he was, and then you trade him for whatever you can get. Or you decide going into next year, is he enough? Is Daniel Jones enough? And the only way you're going to figure that out is if you run Saquon out there. The knee hold up? Is he getting over that stuff or what? So throw him into the fire, see what happens. Otherwise, what is the point?
Yeah.
For crying out loud, it's awful.
Yeah, I mean, you talking about Saquon and his knee holding up. I mean, there's been a lot of talk, especially this week, with it being the Bears, and that's where he tore his ACL. Last year, everyone has been talking, and he came out. He said that isn't in the back of his mind, but it definitely is. Zay, I know you've talked a lot about him being very hesitant on the field and that stuff, but you also, before the show, you're talking about how you thought the play calling was terrible. And, I mean, your boy Jake Fromm only got your 0.2 fantasy points, so I do got to put that out.
Now, to be clear, when I made that pick of Jake Fromm, I decided, hey, I'm sticking with it because it's either going to be really smart or really stupid. And if you're going to be ballsy, you got to live by what you go with. And that's just how I go. And for me, it didn't pay off this time. But in a sense to that also played a part with the offensive. I didn't like what they did. And this is not just for Jake Fromm or this is for any quarterback coming in. If you're going to evaluate players, I feel you need to evaluate players. What they did with Jake Fromm wasn't evaluating. They just threw the man out the fire, gave him the worst offenses they could. They were calling slant right and slant left, and you're not giving him a chance with this. You called a better offense when he came in relief a couple of weeks ago than you did last night. And you had a whole week to prepare for a team that only had 2 days basically to prepare for you. It doesn't make sense. It was very frustrating watching it. Jake Fromm couldn't pick up blitzes. The team was blitzing him heavy. He couldn't pick it up the whole day. You would think, again, the Giants know you're coming in against an Eagles team that is known for a heavy front rush. Their front four is a good front four. They're a blitzing front four, a heavy blitzing team, and he was able to pick up that one blitz. What did you practice all week? And this is what and I kind of agree with Joe. If you're going to get Saquon in there, work him. But they're not going to work him. So what are we doing at this point? It seems the Giants are continuing this pattern where they're okay. The ship is on fire, but they continue to tell themselves, it's not sinking. We're fine. We'll float eventually. You can only go but so far down before you start coming back up. And I think that's really how they see it. They're not going to move on from Saquon. They'll bring him back next year because of what he does in the locker room. They're talking about bringing Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones and Joe Judge is not a good mix. They're not. Joe Judge doesn't even sound like he wants Daniel Jones there half the time. His endorsements of Daniel Jones are half-hearted at best. Oh, yeah, that's my guy. That's who I'm going with. Well, Daniel Jones is our guy, and that's who we're sticking with. It always seems like it's someone else's decision and never Joe Judge's decision. And that's the issue with me for the Giants. The biggest issue for the Giants is like Joe said, there's no identity. These two, like it's Joe Judge and Daniel Jones, they don't get along together. They don't work well together. And for that, and then for you to have a good team, that has to happen. You have to have a good coach and a good quarterback combination. The Cowboys have it with Kellen Moore and Dak Prescott. They great relationship there, which is, if I'm a Cowboys fan, I'm scared that Kellen Moore is getting head coaching calls because I don't want anyone else calling the plays there. When you look at the Green Bay, LaFleur and Rodgers have a great relationship that even when the year starts off rocky, and all the controversy and everything, they were still able to pull it together and put themselves at the number 1 seed in the league. And the Giants just don't have any of this. They don't have good coaching. They don't have good team chemistry. They have none of it. And this is my biggest issue with the Giants. And now I sound like one of those guys who are rambling like Joe because I'm just so, like Joe said, I'm just so frustrated with this franchise and there's just so much wrong that there's just not enough time to point it all out.
You know,
It really is.
it's funny too, Zay, because on the one hand, right, and Sean, you just hop in when you're ready here, but there's that idea. Look, these guys keep turning coaches over every 2 years. It's not good for player development. It's not good for Daniel Jones. It's not good for anybody. But on the other hand, you know, like you said off the top, Jace, do the Giants have a bright future? I keep saying this guy was supposed to be a disciplinarian and a motivator. And I see a very unmotivated, very sloppy football team. So what exactly is this guy doing right that I'm supposed to be like, oh, next year, playoffs? I don't see it.
No. The only thing I would say is probably from the past couple coaches is he has the locker room somewhat intact. No one's coming out calling each other out and that stuff, but that's even like a far stretch. Sean, I want to ask you, Giants don't have a lot of cap space to play with, which I think is probably a good thing, seeing as how much they gave Kenny Golladay. And Kenny Golladay, Andrew Thomas has more touchdowns than Kenny Golladay through the air. So, what do you think of that, Sean?
Yeah, it's disappointing. Obviously, I mean, there's no stability with this team. They're giving out bad contracts left and right. We've been a terrible franchise for the past 5 years. Probably, I think, one of the worst records in the league. So it's definitely frustrating. You don't want to move on from a coach after 2 years again, but if you're gonna, fire Dave Gettleman or let him retire, do whatever he wants to do. I mean, you might as well get rid of Joe Judge too and try and start over fresh, because you can't just try to keep rebuilding on the fly. We saw that it hasn't worked over the past couple of years. The Giants, like I said, have been one of the worst teams in the NFL. So you can't try and just keep putting Band-Aids on this one. It needs a complete overhaul. And John Mara doesn't get that because he's so stubborn and stuck in his ways. He thinks that the Giants are still a great franchise in this league, which, they once were. But now they're an embarrassment right now. They're a joke. Every time you see the Giants on the schedule for another team, you could chalk it up as another W right now, because this team is an embarrassment. They don't have an identity on offense. On defense, they're on the field for more than 3/4 of the game. You can't rely on that. At some point, it's going to break. You saw in the Eagles game, they held up pretty well in the first half, but then in the second half, the Giants couldn't sustain drives. So the defense gets tired, and we see that it just breaks. Everything breaks at the end once they start giving up all these points. So it's frustrating. Like you said, there's not a lot of cap space for next year because we have a bunch of bad contracts on the team. Nate Solder, Kenny Golladay, like you said, who is our leading receiver and doesn't even have 500 receiving yards and not even a touchdown. It's been bad drafting. It's frustrating, obviously. So, I mean, this team needs a complete overhaul, but John Mara can't get that through his thick skull. So it's going to be another try and rebuild on the fly, and it's going to be another failure. I could already see it happening. So definitely not a great state of the Giants right now. I mean, hopefully they could turn around next year, because nothing the next 2 games is going to give me any hope for next year. So, tough days to be a Giants fan, that's for sure.
Double digits in scoring, though. That was pretty cool.
Sure.
Yeah.
We'll take that as a positive.
I mean, you talk about Mara. You know what really got me upset? A couple weeks ago, he's talking about Joe Judge and how he thinks Joe Judge can be like a Parcells or a Belichick. First off, that's ridiculous. Second off, where's the respect for Tom Coughlin? I feel like he's one of the most underrated guys. I mean, he got thrown out of Jacksonville because he put the clocks backwards 15 minutes, and they hated that. That's what the Giants really need right now. They need that disciplinarian, and that's what Coughlin was. And if you're going to if you're going to leave him out of the mix, if you're not going to even mention how great of a coach he was, I mean, that's why this team has its problems, because you don't see those as problems if you're not going to respect the man for what he did. But I mean, that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. But,
yeah, John Mara is still salty that Tom Coughlin didn't shake his hand after the last press conference. He's still got some bad blood with him, which is disrespectful, because, like you said, Tom Coughlin brought this team 2 Super Bowl championships, and he was a great coach. But John Mara won't recognize that because he's an idiot, and he should sell the team.
No, he's completely right. No, it's definitely John Mara. He doesn't want to address that, and the way that whole situation ended. The fact that Kevin Gilbride didn't even get an opportunity at coaching after what he did for that offense. That was the last time the Giants offense was actually relevant, when Kevin Gilbride was actually there. And then obviously Chip Kelly for that 1 year. But, you know, what have we been since? How did Kevin Gilbride, didn't he go to XFL and actually he made a pretty good team in New York or something like that, the Guardians or something like that. They look pretty good out there. So the Giants have been screwing it up for a long time, and he just doesn't want to acknowledge it. For Mara to bring up Coughlin would it be for him to acknowledge how much he screwed up the last 5 years, and he doesn't want to acknowledge that he's the problem. That's what it comes down to.
No, yeah, and I mean, I talked about Coughlin a couple of weeks ago. I think he'd be a great candidate for a new GM. Look at what he did as a coach for the Giants. Look at what he did as the president of football operations for the Jags. That was their best stretch. I mean, talk about the guys that he brought in, the Jalen Ramseys that ended up leaving, which is ridiculous, and the Leonard Fournettes. I mean, he's doing everything that the Giants haven't been able to do, and because John Mara has this bad blood, that's not going to be an option when it comes to GM time. So that's ridiculous. But you look like you're about to say something, Joe.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. If you're John Mara and you're sitting there and you're like coming to terms with like, the fans are booing me, I'm kicking garbage cans to try to act like I'm mad because I don't have emotions because I'm a psychopath billionaire.
Giving out free medium Pepsis.
His mind is churning, and he's like, got to get someone from outside the organization, got to get a new way of thinking. And then all of a sudden, he's like, Tom Coughlin. I wouldn't be shocked to see Tom Coughlin, not necessarily as the GM, but in some sort of, because leave it to I could see the Giants and John Mara, you know, when they do that, like the director of football operations, and then there's a GM and a coach, and that never goes well. When there's 3 different people, you know what I mean? The too many chefs in the kitchen issue. I could see some circumstance where they bring in Tom Coughlin, and it doesn't go well.
But to Jason's point, when Tom Coughlin was here, those were the last good draft years we had because Tom Coughlin was a huge draft guy. He was at the combine day one. He brought in the Victor Cruzes, the Jason Pierre-Pauls, the Justin Tucks, the guys who were, I guess, heroes to us as Giants fans because of what they did to us in that 4-year stretch between 2007 and 2012 or whatever it was. So that was the last real time we actually did really good drafting. So to bring him back in wouldn't be a bad idea considering what we've drafted the last 5 years or so. Like, it's been abysmal.
Yeah, like I mentioned, look at what he did with the Jaguars.
Yeah,
I mean, the Fournettes, the Jalen Ramseys, the Ngakwe's.
Right, and made everyone miserable and everybody wanted to be traded.
Well, that's because they didn't have head coach.
Because he was because he was a disciplinarian, and that's what we're missing. I mean, to complain about putting the clocks 15 minutes back, is that really that shows you how bad Jacksonville is?
No, it shows you how bad the league is.
No,
it's a soft league.
Let me tell you something. Listen, he's an old man from a lost generation. Okay, where they, you had to be a man. Now you've got wide receivers that make $15 million a year for very little production. I'm talking about Sterling Shepard's and you're going to go into a locker room and tell this guy he's got to be 15 minutes early to a meeting. I mean, come on. But I'm gonna set the clocks forward like you're an idiot.
That's not his fault.
It's insulting.
It's not
if you want people to show up 5 minutes before a meeting, say we're gonna have a meeting at 1. Have your ass in the seat at 12:55 or you're late. Okay, fine. Playing games with the clock? Like, what kind of psychological warfare is that?
I see.
Michael Strahan didn't like it. Tiki Barber didn't like it.
It's a soft league.
Strahan didn't like it at first.
You're talking about a soft league. You're talking about where players get beat by 40 and then exchange jerseys at the end of the game. This is a soft league. I'm not getting beat by 40 and exchanging jerseys with the opponent on the other team and just beat me by 40. This is the reality of the league we're in. That didn't happen in the early 2000s and the 90s.
I blame AAU and all that crap. Those traveling teams where you all play together as kids and whatnot, and then you get to the pros and everyone's best buddies.
participation trophies.
Let's cut that nonsense out. We need real rivalries again.
So they just shouldn't play until like high school. So you're saying?
No, I'm saying they should stop being friends.
Okay.
Yeah, enough of the sportsmanship crap. All right.
Enough of it. Don't.
Enough
I hate
of the
watching them. No,
sportsmanship.
I hate watching them lose by 40 and exchange jerseys at the end of the. It's the most frustrating thing on the planet.
Yeah,
Like,
I
who
tell you
friends with
what,
him?
dude. If I was getting beat like the Giants, and it's the way they, again, the way teams are just utterly kicking them around, I'm surprised that they're not fighting more.
No, yeah, I mean, I just watched.
I'd like to see
Moneyball.
somebody pull somebody's helmet off and swing at them.
Somebody give him motion.
Not the helmet, but a fist.
No, yeah, I just
to
watched.
show
Moneyball
again.
the
Show
other
me you
day.
guys got some life. That there's some fight in you, because it doesn't feel like it. This feels like when was it when remember when they had it was bad. Collins was still around and Jenkins and everybody, and they sort of quit. I think the Giants lost like 50-6 to the somebody or other. You guys remember that?
I was at the game. They lost to the Rams 51-17.
There you go. Yeah, the wheels fell off the bus, and after the game, they were like, you lost the locker room. Like, everybody kind of quitting on this team. You're not quite there yet, but I think you're teetering on the brink of. That's why I say again, do something.
Yeah.
Go out there and play a real game and run with Saquon and see what he can do. And if he's not effective, then you know what? Run Devontae Booker out there and see what that looks like, and then do something about Saquon when the season's over. But I'm here's my problem. You've solved absolutely zero problems since last year. The only difference between this year and last year is Daniel Jones is not a turnover machine anymore. He still can't get the ball in the end zone. The Giants still can't score points. The defense is still on the field for way too long where they get exposed eventually. It's going to happen. Dude, if you put the 85 Bears out on the field for 40 minutes, they'd get exposed too. There's only so much a good defense can do.
Yeah.
So this is my point. We went into the offseason last year, and what was the need? Pass rush, offensive line. So let's go out and get a bunch of wide receivers. The Giants have all the same problems they had a year ago. It's like this is like Groundhog's Day. It's the same show for like 2 years. And it's frustrating. Just so go out there, run this offense through Saquon, pound the football, throw the ball to Galladay and Rudolph and whoever else you think is going to be around next year. And that way you at least have some idea what kind of an offense you're going to have. And those of us watching can enjoy it for a few minutes. Solves both problems.
Yeah, I will say, though, I think there definitely is an identity to this offense. But it's Daniel Jones, and he's just been injured.
No,
I do think
that's not an identity. Running the ball with your quarterback to death and put him in a situation where his career is almost over, that's not an offensive identity. That is career suicide for an offensive coordinator and a coach who might not get their quarterback back next year and then have to restart. But that is not an identity. I always thought that was the stupidest thing, running the ball. The design runs for Daniel Jones, because I knew we were going to end up where we are now. If Cam Newton, who's bigger than him, couldn't handle it, how could you expect Daniel Jones to? Look at what Cam Newton's career. Cam Newton's career could have been extended 5-6 more years had he not ran the ball, had designated runs the way he had them. He had not got to get all these surgeries and whatnot. There's nothing left for Cam Newton. There's nothing left for Daniel Jones. He's a neck injury. I'm waiting for them to tell us he can't play no more. That's what I'm waiting for them to tell us. He's got a compounded spine or something, or one of his vertebrae is messed up and he can't play. That's what I'm waiting for them to tell us. They're just prolonging it.
That'd be scary. I mean, I don't want that to happen, because then we'll end up taking a QB with one of these picks. But speaking of our picks coming up in the NFL draft, Week 17 against the Bears, regardless of the outcome, the Giants move up in the draft board. And, the Bears are struggling just as much as the Giants. Got one more win. You know me, how much I'm going to pick the Giants, because I always pick the Giants. But
we've been hold on. We've honestly been talking for 25 minutes
Yeah.
about the state of the Giants and the fact that the Giants are terrible, they can't score, and they're on their second and third string quarterbacks who shouldn't even be in the NFL, let alone maybe their starter shouldn't either. We still don't know the identity. They can't run the football, and you think they're going to beat the Bears?
I love the Giants. The real thing that's
listen. I don't know if I told you this today. I also love the Giants. Why I do this. I love the Giants. I know sometimes I say things and it could easily be misconstrued like, hey, does this guy love the Giants? And to those people, Zay, I say this. I love the Giants. I love them more than you do. Not you, Zay, just in general, people, because I do love the Giants. And I sit there and I watch every game by myself, miserable. But I watch it, and those few fleeting moments that Joe Judge seems to see nothing but, I get very excited for those. They are fewer and farther between at this point, but I do love the Giants. And so when I say the Giants are going to lose this game, I mean, that's not because I hate them. It's because I love them. I'm just prepping myself to not hate them while I'm watching the game. You understand me?
No, I get what you're saying, but to me, honestly, I see the Giants as my team. And when I was in high school playing, I didn't go into a game thinking we were going to lose. Even we went 1-9 one season. I still thought we could win every single game that we went into. We didn't. But I have that delusion. I have that faith in my team to pull something out of their rear end, and they're especially going to have to do it this week with Graham Gano being on the injury list. Because every week I said their only avenue to victory is a field goal battle, and without the greatest kicker and the biggest Pro Bowl snub this season in Graham Gano.
Not the biggest. He's up there.
You can't even say that with a straight face.
He's the best kicker in all football right now, and it sucks that the Giants can't move the football into field goal range for him to be able to showcase his leg. That's the issue. It's not he is a beast.
Well, was he the only Giant snubbed?
Yes.
Xavier McKinney.
Thank you, Sean. Xavier McKinley should have been in the Pro Bowl.
No, maybe not.
Ingram was a Pro Bowler last year with 1 touchdown and 600 yards.
Graham Gano should have been a Pro Bowler instead of him as well.
He had more touchdowns this year. I don't know how he's not a Pro Bowler.
Yeah, it's okay. Let's get back to this game. Zay, you're the other Giants optimist here. Can they win this football game?
There's no more optimism left here, bro. I'm gonna keep it a buck as a Giants fan. As a Giants fan, for the next 2 games, it's just gonna be just getting through it. Not so much watching it, but just getting through these next 2 weeks and getting to the playoffs where I can enjoy other teams in the playoffs. But this is gonna get ugly for the Giants, especially if Justin Fields plays, because then it's like, darn, we could have had him. We traded him. Now we're stuck with nothing, looking for something again. So this could be a really, really bad nightmare for the Giants. If, God forbid, Justin Fields were to play and go out there and light us up.
Even if the Giants has had that pick, they want to pick Justin Fields. They never were going to pick Justin Fields.
Yes, they could have, but they could have. The idea that he was there and that you decided that Kadarius Toney was the solution to all your problems it's something you're going to regret. Particularly, Jace, if like Zay keeps saying, that the next X-ray we get from Daniel Jones is like, ooh, 1 bad hit and he's paralyzed. I think he's not going to play anymore. Then you're going to wish that they had sat and they had taken Justin Fields.
I mean, Justin Fields would be. There's no difference. There is zero difference between Justin Fields and Daniel Jones.
I would disagree with that 1,000,000% based on I could name 100 things that are different right now. And nobody would disagree with me. That's lunacy. You know it.
No, he had ball security. He has ball security issues when he's young. I think he will grow out of that.
He's young. All right.
He
That's
can
they're
run
both
like that.
young. That's
He
good.
can throw it down the
They
field.
both have brown hair.
He is very similar to Daniel Jones.
No.
That's crazy.
I wouldn't make that comparison at all.
That's crazy. I wouldn't go that far.
He's very, very similar to Daniel Jones. Very similar, and he doesn't have the O-line, and he's going to struggle till they build that O-line. But, I mean, that's neither here nor there. Sean, what's going to happen?
There's a big difference, too, because Justin Fields gets sacked like 8 times a game when he plays, and Daniel Jones is one of the least pressured quarterbacks in the NFL. He still can't find Kenny Golladay, and he still can't get them in the end zone. So I don't see any similarities in their game at all. What I see is Daniel Jones constantly come up short on 3rd down, and the Giants punt.
Oh, okay. So I'm talking about similar to, all right, go back a couple years when Daniel Jones was the most pressured guy. He was having the same mistakes that Justin Fields does.
But you just said if they fix the O-line in Chicago, that won't be the problem. So you're just assuming that about Justin Fields.
He's just very similar to Daniel Jones. That's all I'm saying.
I wouldn't go that far. I think that's crazy talk.
I'm with Zay on this one.
Not to mention the level of talent they've played. Just the level of talent they've played alone. You can tell the ceiling is just going to be way higher for Justin Fields. I would never pick the Duke quarterback. I'm sorry. It just would have never happened. It's just
I lived through the Dave Brown era. I swear to God, we would never do it again. And here we are. And it's not going well.
Was anyone ever going to pick a Wyoming quarterback until Josh Allen came out? I mean,
stop that.
Josh Allen is a freak athlete. He's bigger than most. Are you kidding me?
I mean, to bring up their school,
Southern Mississippi State hasn't put out a good wide receiver since Jerry Rice. I mean, it's not exactly a wide receiver factory. That's ridiculous.
Okay, but if you're gonna talk about Duke, I mean,
no, you're talking about talent. There's nothing good. Listen, unless it's on a hardwood court, nothing good's ever come out of Duke.
Duke is known for basketball. That's what
doctors, really good doctors, and that's it.
I would have never picked a quarterback from there. It's just. I'm sorry.
Who's a good Duke football player?
Jamison Crowder.
Even Hakeem Nicks, I think we got from North Carolina.
Yeah, right down the road.
All right, back to this game.
Come on, anybody got a really good Duke football player? You want to? Because basketball players, I'll name like 100 right now. You know what I mean? Start with Christian Laettner, go some Grant Hill, Vince Carter. Who you want? Come on.
Vince Carter went to UNC.
Vince Carter went to UNC.
I don't even know what I'm talking about. It doesn't matter. Here's my point, because we did just mention North Carolina and Hakeem next. But listen, all that aside, no comparison. I think I've made my point.
Okay. All right, Sean, what's your analysis of this game?
This is going to be an ugly game. Two bad offenses. It's going to be a punt fest all game. It's going to be hard to watch, just like every other Giants game has been ever since Daniel Jones went out. I don't know. I mean, Joe Judge says that he's going to play both Mike Glennon and Jake Fromm, which is just going to be a disaster. There's not much to look forward to with this offense. Maybe we can get a sack from Azeez Ojulari, maybe a pick from Xavier McKinney. That'd be pretty cool, but probably not likely. Yeah, I don't see the Giants winning this game. I think it will probably be around maybe like 16-9 sounds right for this game. I'd smash the under. Going to be an ugly game.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get through these last 2 weeks with the Giants.
I don't think the Giants will get. I don't think the Giants will get on the scoreboard at all this week. I think they're going to get I see a 0 happening. I see this team having under 100 yards of total offense and 0 points. I think the Bears will win like 6 or 8-0. Maybe there's a safety in there. It'll be something weird. 11-0. Watch. It's going to be one of the worst games. They'll rank it one of the worst games ever
12-6
in terms of
field goals.
Absolute offensive ineptness by two teams.
Yeah,
it's going to look like the 86 Giants and the 85 Bears defense at work. You're going to have to look really be like, oh, no, wait, it's just two lousy offenses making those defenses look good.
It's gonna look like the Giants and Eagles a couple weeks ago. That's what it's gonna look like. Just a little, probably a little worse.
No, definitely worse than that. This is going to, I mean, at Soldier Field, Big Ten country, I think it is going to be, like Sean said, punt fest, battle for field position, whoever, and then maybe one touchdown, a bunch of field goals. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be gross. And without Graham Gano, I don't know if the Giants can win a field goal battle.
That's the best case scenario for the Giants. I keep telling you, don't want Justin Fields to play and light us up. You don't want him to do that like he played against Green Bay a couple weeks ago. He went out there and he almost won that damn game. You don't want that to happen because everyone's going to then look at the Giants and be like, uh-oh, you did it again. You passed on a player that should be. You passed on
Justin Fields.
I don't know. We got an extra first-round pick out of that. I still don't hate that trade.
To become what? That's the
We're
thing.
going to have to see. We're going to have
Got
to
a new
see.
GM. He can't. Hopefully, he doesn't screw it up as bad as Gettleman. We'll have 2 top 10 picks.
Yeah. That's something good to start with. But we'll see. We'll see.
I can't do season 3 of G-Man with this team sucking.
Also,
yeah.
For you know how these idiots in their stupid mock drafts?
Yeah.
Please, everybody, stop with your stupid mock drafts, okay? Because here's the thing. A lot of stuff's got to happen between now and the draft.
Yeah.
And the most important thing is free agency. That happens before the drafts. And so what your needs are before the draft might be drastically different if you sign a guy in free agency. I've seen a lot of really stupid giant mock drafts where every pick is an offensive lineman because you're a moron. I always comment to those people, that's why you're not a GM. Idiot. That's like an idiot thing.
Okay, we can't say that.
You're just offensive linemen. You want to pick 10 offensive linemen?
That's what they should do.
No, they shouldn't.
It's not
that's
what they should
stupid.
do. It's not what they
no,
should do
that's
at
an
all,
idiot thing to do. That's just throwing a bunch of crap at the problem and thinking, well, something will stick.
Throwing a bunch of darts and hoping one hits the bullseye.
Jace, that's what idiots do. Listen to me. You have to pinpoint and figure out what your needs are. Left tackle's all set. So I don't need 5 offensive linemen, do I? I already got one. One of the other 4 garbage dumpster guys are salvageable. And then you figure out around that. Maybe you go out and sign the best center available in free agency. Now you don't have to draft one of those. So now 10 picks, you're down to 8. Idiots. You're not drafting all offensive linemen. This team has so many friggin' problems. Do you think that if they just fix the offensive line, they're going to go 14-3?
No,
Idiot.
but that's the foundation.
Idiot.
That's the foundation.
It's not the foundation.
That's where you got to start.
It is not.
Yes.
It's a yes and a no.
Dude, they need 2. First of all, they would have kept
when
Kevin
you win
Zeitler.
the battle in the trenches, that changes everything.
They would be in much better position right now had they not made the stupidest offseason move when they did that.
How did they keep?
And then you would only need 2 offensive linemen. Okay, so again, you're not Jace. They need a linebacker. They still need an edge rusher. So why would you spend 10 picks on offensive linemen unless you were an offensive lineman like weirdo obsessed with offensive linemen?
Which I am.
That's creepy. I would stop that.
I love offensive. I mean, no, but they should. The majority of their picks should be offensive linemen.
No.
Your value, especially that, comes in the second, third round. It doesn't come in the first round. How many first round offensive linemen do we talk about other than
this
maybe
year?
Penei
There's be some studs.
And
what? Oh, you get all the good offensive linemen in the first round.
Yeah,
not in the first 10 picks. We've only had 2 good ones. The one in the Colts, I can't remember his name, and Penei Sewell. In the last 10, name me anyone who else has been good.
Andrew Thomas, Mekhi Becton.
We picked in the
Eric
top.
Fisher
Mekhi Becton is terrible.
Tyron Smith.
God, I get to watch the Jets. He's terrible. He's even playing half the time. Mekhi
Becton.
He's been hurt this year.
ACL.
Yeah,
like, what are you talking about? Okay,
all
right.
Last year, and he doesn't even play. So again, what are you getting with these first top 10 linemen? Again, maybe it hits, maybe it doesn't. Penei Sewell was a hit. Doesn't mean it's going to hit because look at what we've done. We've taken first round linemen and they suck. Andrew Thomas is actually turning around. I'll give him that. He's turning around.
Well, Eric Flowers is the only one that sucked.
Well, Will Hernandez still sucks.
Will Hernandez sucks.
I'm talking about.
He was the first pick of the second round. He might as well have been a first rounder.
The end of it. pick. You
The
don't
second
Come
get.
on.
pick.
Don't
You don't get
Alright.
your lineman value.
give
I
me
later.
your
said first
semantics.
round offensive lineman. I didn't say second
What your
round.
semantics, dude?
Again, you get your value later in the round off
What?
those picks. The first
No,
round,
you don't. You get no value out of late round offensive lineman. You maybe hit one in every 15.
Right.
Maybe.
So then
Reed
why?
Humphrey.
First of all, listen.
I agree that I don't want a bunch of
Hold
offensive
on.
linemen.
No
You
matter
gotta get
what
them
you
early,
guys
though.
are saying,
Look
no
at
matter
the
what
li-
you're saying, hold on. You're making my point. This idea that you're
I
just
agree
gonna
with your
keep,
point.
you're going to keep drafting tackles and guards, and then you'll just throw somebody will be
Also,
good.
no,
That is a stupid
Look
philosophy.
I agree
Look
with you.
at 2 years
I know
ago.
you do.
Look at
I
2
know
years
you
ago.
do.
You have Andrew
James is still
Thomas,
arguing with
who's
me
done
about it.
great.
Like he's going to
You
make
got
a point.
Tristan Wirfs. You got Mekhi Becton and
I'm
Jedrick
bringing up
Wills.
the
They're
Kai
all
Becton
playing
like he's
great.
good. Tristan Wirfs is the only. Tristan Wirfs is
Dude,
good.
Mekhi
Penei Sewell's good. I'll give
Becton
you that.
was
Kai Becton was better than him last year when he was
Rookie of the
healthy.
year last year.
Did you watch Nakai Becton play?
Yes.
Yes, he was a
did.
beast.
He was terrible. He was almost just as bad as Andrew Thomas at one point, and then he turned it around. They were talking about him and Andrew Thomas being at one point being the two lowest of the draft.
He
I don't
let up
know what
one
you were
sack
watching last
all
year.
year for the Jets. Like, what are you talking about
All
there,
right.
bro? Okay. We need
I'm
to take
sitting
a
in New
break.
York. I listened to New York
Go
radio.
on.
I listened to them complain about Nakai Becton, how terrible he was all last year until he
We
turned
know
it
you're a
around
Jets fan.
mid-play.
Zach.
I'm not a Jets fan by
Terrible
far.
all last
I
year.
get the
He
best of
barely
both worlds
let up
being an
any
actual New
pressure.
Yorker. I get the best. All right.
All right. Okay, we're getting off the rails. We're going all over the place. We're gonna take a break and we're gonna come back. We'll take a break. We're stopping the Giants talk because we're getting too crazy. We're getting all over the place. Let's take a break and then we'll remember the great John Madden. So stay tuned.
Do you have a 401k and some savings for future retirement, but you don't even know if it's enough to live off of? How much is enough? And how often do you think about it? The team at JPEX Financial Group can help set your mind at ease. We specialize in creating strategies, doing the planning and managing of your financial, educational, and investment needs. We help clients pursue their investment goals with sound financial strategies. You deserve a personal, tailored plan. Lasting, meaningful, and open relationships are the foundation of our practice. You've worked hard for your money and should feel confident with your investment choices as you make decisions for your financial future. Your goals are our goals. We are dedicated to your needs and hopes for your future. Visit our website or give us a call at 860-430-5397.
All right, before we move on, I do want to say one thing. We spent 42 minutes talking about the Giants, and they can't even score 42 points. I mean,
In probably a 2-month span.
I think we got 42 points to a year.
yeah, maybe in December and November combined, maybe. But it's what I think next year. That's what we got to do. We can only talk about the Giants for as many minutes as they scored. So we should probably change it to just the NFL show.
Yeah, we're going to have a 10-minute show. Might as well start with our best bets.
Isn't that even the thing? Haven't they scored? Wasn't it like 42 touchdowns since the start of like 2020 or something like that? It was like dead last. I think that literally was something I just saw.
Probably.
If we scored 42 touchdowns with him that time, I'd be shocked. I'd really be shocked. I know there was a lot of games we didn't score.
Yeah. All right.
Maybe it is points.
No, I saw that the Cowboys score more points last week than the Giants have in the past 5 or 6 games, which is not surprising.
Okay.
I don't want to keep rubbing it in.
Yeah, enough for the Giants.
I'm gonna let it go, but it was an ugly one.
All right. R.I.P. John Madden, and I mean, he is the biggest figure in all football. But I mean, Tom Brady. But I mean, before Brady, John Madden. I mean, he is football, the game, man. I was talking to my friends when I got the news about it, and my friend made a joke. He's like, "How did the video game die?" And I'm like, first off, that's kind of messed up. The guy just died. But second off, thinking about it, I mean, that's how immortal John Madden's immortal. He is going to be that video game forever. Everyone's going to know John Madden. And I mean, I barely growing up got to see him commentate, but I mean he was still great. But now, I mean, he is forever going to be remembered by Madden, and I think that's great. He's been really the face of football before Tom Brady, and he will continue to be that name forever associated with football. And he's had such a big impact. Like, people learn to play the game of football because of his game. That's why he made Madden, was for people to just pick
I
up.
thought he made that game because he wanted people to go for 4th and 40 on their own 4-yard line.
No, he wanted to show Joe Judge how to run the screen on 3rd down every time.
Yeah, Joe, I mean,
so, well, couple things. It's funny, and I've heard some people say, and it's true, and for you young guys, you can't really appreciate it, but like Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, that's the game, that's the big game of the week is whatever game Madden and Summerall were calling. Pat Summerall, his faithful companion of many years, George Allen Summerall, by the way. His name is George Summerall. Pat is his nickname. Point after touchdown. He was a kicker, John. Pat Summerall was.
For the Giants.
For the Giants. That's where the nickname comes from, though. Pat, P-A-T. How hilarious is that? Anyway, these guys really did. I didn't even understand because it was happening while I was watching it, that he was sort of revolutionizing football and putting it in layman's terms and just coming at you with the telestrator was amazing. He was the guy who came up with the concept of turning the first down marker yellow so you knew where it was and you knew where they had to get. And then he said cool things like boom for no reason during games, and it really added something to the game. I don't know what it was, but it was awesome. I was a Tecmo Bowl player in the late 80s. And then John Madden Football showed up, and what people don't know is the first edition was very bad. It was very like what you would expect an 8-bit video game to be, but he to his credit, man, in EA Sports, boy, Madden just quickly developed into the most superior sports game there was. I mean, by a mile. It was stunning, man. I remember having huge tournaments playing Tecmo Bowl, and then just like that, it was like that was MySpace. You know what I mean? And Facebook showed up, and that's what Madden was for sports video games. It was just like on a whole other level.
Yeah, and I mean,
sad.
Sanders says he put the color in commentary. Yeah, he was a beast. Zay, you got any memories from John Madden?
Joe's covered, most of the stuff. Obviously, I'm not much too far in age from you guys, so we've got much of the same history on our end. I didn't get much chance to, see John Madden like that. I hear him commentate. Like, I was young, so when he was really commentating, like Joe said, he did the big games, the night games, the Monday night game. I was in bed, so I really didn't get to see that. But I was familiar with, obviously, the Madden game, which is, I'm hoping now, with his passing, they'll make it a little better and get it back in a better state, because it's not in its greatest of days right now, but hopefully it'll get back to that way. But yeah, like you said, John Madden.
Wait, do you think John Madden was holding up the development of the game? You think?
Oh no, I don't think John Madden has anything to do with the game since like 1995.
Like, all right, we're gonna up the ante here.
Yeah, he hasn't even had his voice in the game since like 2002. So that's another thing there. But no, but for me, I think it's going to be the Little Giants movie. I grew up as a Giants fan, like the rest of you guys, and watching Little Giants. And the Giants were obviously playing the Cowboys, who we all hate. And to see him in there and the annexation of Puerto Rico and all these plays that they was throwing in there when they was hiding out in the garage and they was trying to run their plays, to me, that will always be iconic and stick out to me and be a memory for me for John Madden, because that's what I remember the most was that movie Little Giants and seeing him in it. That was like my big thing. But yeah, like you said, John Madden, rest in peace, great guy. Probably the biggest name in football commentary talking, probably next to Chris Berman. I don't think anyone's going to be bigger than him. Maybe Chris Berman's probably the next closest guy to him. But yeah, what can you say? The guy made a ton of money. rest in peace. But he's, it's hard to be sad for a guy who made a ton of money and lived to 85. So, I mean, I don't know how to end it. I guess
that was poor.
It's hard for me to feel bad.
That was a regrettable ending.
It's hard for me to feel bad for a guy who's been taking money from me the last 20 somewhat years of my life. So it's kind of like, it's gonna feel the same with Jordan when I'm like, oh, later Jordan, but can I get some money back from the sneakers? That's kind of how it feels right now. It's not that I don't hate John Madden. It's just he lived a great life. It's hard to feel bad for someone who lived a great life. I'm sorry. I don't want to make it morbid. I didn't want to make it a morbid ending.
His family's definitely going to be set after. Well, when Madden's going to go on forever, because the NFL's forever. But also, if you got some time after you're done listening to this podcast, and then you're searching and you've listened to all the Clovercrest Media podcasts, check out the 30 for 30 on Madden and the creation of that game, because it was a very interesting story on him talking about how his vision for it and what he tried to do and what he accomplished from it. But Sean, you got any comments about Sean Madden?
You guys said it. He's a football icon. He lived an entire football life. Obviously, being a great coach with the Raiders, he only spent 10 years there, and he probably could have stacked up a lot more Super Bowls. He only won one, but he was a dominant coach there. The Raiders were great in the 70s. And then obviously his great commentary career with him and Pat Summerall. I wish I was alive during the age where they, commented all those big games, because like Joe said, just his commentary, his passion for the game, you could tell it through his broadcast. So yeah, and then obviously the Madden game, where most of us grew up playing Madden. That's where our love for football started for most of us. So just a great football life, probably the biggest icon in football, honestly. And it's a tough loss for the NFL community. So rest in peace to John Madden. He was definitely a football legend.
Yes, sir. And they have to do it for Madden. What was it? 2022s?
No, I know what you're talking about. The Madden on the cover when they was carrying. Yeah, I don't remember what you wanted.
No. But for Madden 22, John Madden has to be on the cover, right? You have to respect the man. He has to be on the cover of Madden 22. It's named after him, for God's sake.
It would have been odd if he would have been on this year's cover and then died.
But then that would be the Madden curse.
All right. I'm glad anybody knew the joke there. Yeah, the Madden curse.
But
too soon.
By the way, we have a podcast to Conspiracies and Beyond, and we actually did an episode about the Madden cover curse.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Go check it out.
Wow. Yeah, interesting. But I will say though. No, with that being said, we know John, he's going to be on the cover, but who should be the actual cover athlete this year for Madden?
Jonathan Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor. Yeah, took the words right out of my mouth. Yeah, he's on my list for MVP.
Yeah, with that, not for nothing, whether he wins MVP or not. I think when all is said and done, you see with the numbers that guy tallies up by years, and it would have been Derrick Henry.
Yes.
Who was on his way to another 2,000-yard season, but I think it's going to be Jonathan Taylor. Or the only other guy that could steal it, but he's not a dominant football player, from what I hear, is Cooper Kupp. Thank you, Sandra.
That's what I was going to say.
Cooper Kupp.
Or Deebo Samuel.
No.
But
Madden
hold
cover.
on. But do you want a glorified Wes Welker on the cover of Madden is the question. I don't actually believe that about Cooper Kupp. I've been hearing a lot of people say that.
He could actually catch when it matters, so it might be a little different.
Dude, listen, I know Wes Welker's a little white guy, undersized, slant runner, the whole nine, but I don't know. Guy puts up like 120 catches a year. He's no Randy Moss. I know Randy Moss didn't do that, so there's no comparison here. None of those guys put up the kind of seasons that Welker had and Kupp's had. So, yeah, I think to disclude somebody with great stats because of their skin color is silly.
Whoa.
And that's
I
think that's
Whoa.
what's happening.
Whoa.
I think that's what's happening with Cooper Kupp, and it's the same thing that happened with Wes Welker. And it's rare that you see that.
How?
No.
When Peyton Hillis was on the cover.
I'm not talking about.
we're talking about.
I'm not talking about
Cooper
Madden
Kupp,
covers. I'm just talking
Wes
about Cooper
Welker.
Kupp and Wes Welker. You look at the years and the numbers, Wes Welker, and it immediately chalked up to system quarterback Tom Brady, blobbity bloobity blobbity blob. And I don't think that's fair. And again, to hear former wide receivers in the NFL at ESPN talking about Cooper Kupp and saying that Cooper Kupp is not like an elite wide receiver is lunacy. And again, I think people are struggling with the guy's skin color. He's a white guy. He couldn't possibly be, the second coming of Homer Jones.
No, I think I wouldn't put that. I wouldn't say it's because of skin color. I think it's more because Matthew Stafford's throwing him the football. Matthew Stafford is going to throw to the top 2 receiving season receiving records in football with Calvin Johnson and Cooper Kupp. So
Robert Woods was there. Don't do this to him.
By the way, the Peyton Hillis version of Madden, one of my favorites.
What year?
I did love that one.
Oh my God, what was that?
That would have been 11.
Was that
11
12? 2011, 12?
No, 11. Okay, so 10 was Breeze, right?
I think 11 was Breeze.
It's definitely not a race thing. It's just Cooper Kupp isn't a popular. He's a good player, but he's not someone like when you go to the park, you don't go, I'm going to be Cooper Kupp. I'm going to be Cooper Kupp today. That's what it comes down. You want to be, I'm going to moss somebody. You want to be that name. You don't. I'm not
right. You want to be the guy that's all style and grace. I mean, I get that. Randy Moss was cool, dude. Mooning people and Odell Beckham's barking like a dog and Terrell Owens doing push-ups and that's cool.
Breaking tablets.
Ocho Cinco's a Looney Tune, doing all the crazy, changing his name and whatnot, like he's Meta World Peace or something. I mean, come on. That's a diva wide receiver. Cooper Kupp doesn't do that. He puts up better numbers, and he's not as talented. I think if Cooper Kupp was a black dude, I think people would be talking about this kid's a superstar. People talk about Justin Jefferson like he's a superstar. I've never heard anybody be like, well, Adam Thielen's the main target. They got to worry about Thielen, so, leaves Jefferson wide open. You could make that argument, but you wouldn't, but you'll do it about a white wide receiver. I hate to say
that's
it,
not
but
true. That
is 100% true. And shame on those guys on ESPN talking that nonsense. That is so utterly idiotic. It's shocking to me.
That's crazy. Because you think about players like Jordy Nelson and all these other white receivers that we've never had issues with, matching them with some of the
completely undervalued. They're completely undervalued. You don't those guys got to perform.
Jordy
year
Nelson
after
was
year.
considered the best with Donald. What was it? Donald Driver they had that year, and
Dander agrees. So I got something going for me.
Oh my god! I'm not.
I agree. He doesn't get as much shine because he's a wide receiver, but.
No, it's because of Matthew Stafford. That's why
I don't think it's because of Matthew Stafford.
He's getting a ton of
Calvin Johnson still got shine.
Cooper Kupp is getting way more shine than a Cole Beasley, who does almost the same exact thing that nobody cares about.
No, Cole Beasley is more of like a slot receiver that is like a possession receiver. Cooper Kupp is much more than that. He's actually a downfield threat, and he could play in the slot. He's a good route runner. He's good after the catch. He does a lot more than just normal, white slot receivers that we think of like Patriots guys.
And Joe, for your answer, if he was dark skinned, people would be like, finally Sterling Shepard is getting paid to do what he's doing. That's what he's saying.
Why we always got to bring Shep into this?
Because he needs to go.
He makes a lot of money for very little production.
I agree he needs to go, but you guys take a jab at Shep every episode.
Bro,
I don't like it.
He needs to go. He's the last guy from the boat trip. Once he's gone, everything will get rectified. I'm telling you.
I don't disagree with that.
That's another thing. If you're over 35 and you're a white guy, please stop posting that. First of all, why is that boat picture on your phone?
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't know
why is it on your phone? That's the first question I want to ask. Why is that picture on your phone for you to post it on Facebook? Okay? Let that boat trip go. A lot of cool things went on there, I'm sure. Okay?
It's the fact that we were 11-5 and we lost.
It is. I gotta tell you, dude. If one more middle-aged white guy posts that picture, I'm gonna start making accusations publicly on Facebook. I'm gonna have to. Everyone's got that picture on their phone. Remember this? Like, oh, why do you have that?
Because
Why can we just talk about? We all know what happened. I want to show you the picture. I like it. I got. Calm down.
You got that picture on your phone, Joe?
I don't. I don't want to see it anymore. I wish people would stop posting it.
Joe's got it on his wall.
it's like
Dude,
the
listen,
Deshaun Jackson
again,
punt
you
return.
can at this point you can reference to the boat trip and everyone understands.
Yes.
You don't need to post it. And again, I don't know why it's on your phone.
Hasn't it?
I think that's weird.
Isn't it weird? It's become as infamous as like the Deshaun Jackson punt return or the Herb Edwards kick return, like Miracle to Meadowlands. Like, the boat trip is up there with the Miracle in the Meadowlands for some reason.
So tired of seeing that picture, like I am of seeing that. Dude, I swear to God, I would say on average, I see at least once a week Deshaun Jackson run that punt back.
The NFL
At
loves
least once
posting
a
that
week.
video.
Oh, it's
They
in
love
every
posting that
compilation video ever.
And the best is Coughlin at the end where he's, God damn it.
It's on the best punt returns, best special teams plays, walk-offs. The Giants suck. Every video that you come across on Facebook, that's in there.
Yeah,
and I hate it.
Big middle finger. Giants fans just taking a big middle finger all the time.
He
I
hate
mean,
New York.
and it's deserving so.
Sports
But,
hates New York. They don't like when New York is good. Sports don't like New York.
Yeah, and I mean,
Well, it's not often, so
it is. I mean, just like
especially with
New
the
York.
other New York teams.
Yeah. I mean, just like New York, though, y'all struggling.
No, I won finally.
You did win, taking the overs route, stealing a little bit of my juju.
I won.
But,
I did good. What did I say?
You lost.
No.
You did. Joe,
Joe,
you went against the Texans. The Texans won, bro.
Yeah, they smoked.
Oh yeah, you took Chargers minus 10.
Are you sure? I thought I took the money line.
Either way.
The money line's on the Texans. Didn't I say that?
No.
I have to watch that video back. I could have sworn I was like, I think I won this week.
Well, sure.
I don't think you were there for the end. I think you had to leave.
No, he was. No, he.
Yeah, I think I was misquoted.
Yeah, I mean,
gotta run the tape back.
I'm curious because I feel like I was misquoted.
Remember
when Jace got the push and he gave himself credit for a half of a win or whatever that was?
It's a tie.
You remember that? No,
It's
bro. In the sports world, that's an L.
That's a tie.
You're not getting your money back on a push.
I'll take an L. All right, still
9-7
last week.
Yeah, he did say that, didn't he?
It's all right. You can keep it.
Sus.
All right. Okay.
It was a little suspect though.
Whatever.
Makes me feel better.
Sean.
I guess somebody has to have a winning record.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna have a winning record after this week because I'm going with the over again. Falcons Bills. I think the Bills might hit the 44 alone. The Falcons defense is terrible, and the Bills offense has been rolling lately. So I think that they'll do that, and then I think the Falcons will get some garbage points late, maybe 14 or 17 points. I could see like a 31-14 game, which would get right over that mark. And so let's see some points out of this game.
Shout out to this game because I was supposed to go to it, but I had to work. The tickets were like dirt cheap, like $30. So
Not surprised.
Yeah, it's gonna be. In Buffalo. But
Jeez.
Yeah, I got a friend that lives in Syracuse, so we're just gonna chill at his house. But I like that. Josh Allen's been great, and the Bills hit the over for me last week against the Pats. But all right, Joe. Titans minus 3.5 against the Dolphins.
Look, the Dolphins' lucky run is about to end. So, yeah, it's got to end eventually, and I feel like it's going to be this week. Titans clinch if they win this game. They clinch the AFC South, and I don't know. I I have a good feeling about this Titans team. I've been saying it for the last several weeks. I'll say it again. I like that defense. I think that defense is just good enough. I'm telling you, they just seem to always, when they need to make a stop, they get the stop. You could argue the Dolphins have been doing that for the last 7 weeks, but again, I was gonna, I thought the Patriots were gonna extend that winning streak against the Bills, and in hindsight, I thought, come on, get real. Can't win that many games in a row in the NFL, especially against a good quality opponent like the Bills, or in this case, the Titans.
I like that logic.
Thank you. I thought a lot about this.
Right.
This wasn't some fly-by-night decision.
All right.
Coming down to the nitty-gritty. Got to make good decisions now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
dubs.
Yeah, you all do. But from one AFC East team to another, getting dumped on. Zay taking the Bucks.
Yeah, big number. And the Bucks are beat up. But they still have enough to get the job done. I think Brady's still going to take this game with the Jets as personal as he did with the Bills because of obvious reasons. He's never really lost to this team for the most part. I think one time with Eric Mangini, he doesn't want to lose to them on a different team. He's made it clear when he was with, when they played the Bills a couple weeks ago, how important that game was to them. So I think this is up there, just probably not as important, but still important. You don't want to lose to the Jets when you're Brady. So I think he'll go out there, he'll light him up, put on a show. So I think that 13 is just too low of a number. But again, Vegas guys, they tend to know more than me this year. I'm 6-10, so
this feels like a 28-15 kind of game.
It seems like it, right? But you think the Bucks are still trying to play for a number one seed because they don't want to travel to cold in the playoffs. You don't want to have to go to Green Bay when it's cold. You'd rather Green Bay come to you where it's nice and warm and you got your guys back and there's no hamstring issues and all that good stuff. But we'll see how it plays out.
28-15. I like that score.
A push.
Oh, not again.
All right.
Okay. Jace got that like 30 seconds ago. That was hilarious. Thanks, Jace.
But all right. So the overs have been killing it for me. And I'm gonna do something very, very stupid to make it a little bit spicy. Let's do some stuff. Let's make it interesting going into next week. Hopefully Sean and I can be tied and we'll or maybe not. No, I think I'm going to pull away. Raiders +7 at the Colts. Like you said, Joe, there's eventually a time
can't win every game.
To lose. Yes, and also in memory of John Madden, let's do it. This has been a very emotional team all year. They've been able to rally multiple times. The greatest coach in your team's history just passed away.
Who never coached.
You don't think you can rally and make this at least a field goal, a close game? I think the Raiders can. I think they can.
Ace, I love everything that you just said, and I could not agree more. I wasn't even thinking about that. When you think about all the stuff this poor team has been through, right? Again, I mean, John Madden left there after the 1978 season. I almost don't even attribute John Madden because I attribute him to Fox and NBC and CBS and my video games that sometimes I forget. Yes, the Raiders, this is beautiful. And I want to point something out. I mentioned this to you guys all earlier today in the group chat. I don't like Bob Stoops, and I don't like Oklahoma, but I love the fact that he came back to coach them and that they won the Alamo Bowl. I just, and it's funny because when he retired to Norman and people were like, dude, he's so out of here. And to his credit, Bob Stoops is a man of his word. He's been retired in Norman for 5 years playing golf and hanging around town. And when they called him up to come coach that game after the Lincoln Riley, the dirty dude sitting there in some kid's house, come to Oklahoma. I'll be with you your whole life. And then the kids like texted him 5 minutes later, like, are you really going to USC? Yeah. So I really thought that was fantastic. And I just want to say congratulations to Oklahoma and Bob Stoops. 5 years after you coached your real last game, you finally earned my respect.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean that's
Nice.
great.
So in spirit of that, Jace, I love the idea of the Madden win.
It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna
It
happen.
doesn't even have to be a win. Let's just get it close, within 7, a field goal.
A 5-point loss. Good enough.
Let's take it. Come on, keep it close. Let's go. Rally behind John Madden. Let's go. And now I talk about me winning in best bets. This is over, guys. This is over. Like,
Not
come
over
on.
till it's over.
Point 2, Zay. Point 2, I get it. You took the as I call it, the Megan Anderson logic. You're either gonna look very, very dumb, or you're gonna look very, very smart if it pays off. And I mean, it's a risk, but I mean, it's over, guys. It's over. I don't see how I don't see it happening. You guys just can't catch me now.
Anyway,
Yeah, if James Robinson didn't tear his Achilles, I'd be closer. But of course, that happened on the third carry of the game.
Yeah, stuff
which
happens.
sucks too. That's the worst time of the year. Like at least Cam Akers, it happened before the year. Now he can come back. This
Especially being on the Jags too, week 16. That's not good.
They lost their starter and their backup. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's wild. But all right, Zay, you're doubling down on the Bucks, going with Antonio Brown.
Yeah, need a
with
big
the
week.
fraud himself.
I need a big week. Brady needs a big week, and Antonio Brown needs to keep this team going, honestly, until he can get reinforcements back in the playoffs. So I think they'll run through the Jets, and I don't think the Jets have anybody that can cover Antonio Brown. He obviously is not the number one receiver he was a couple of years ago, but still, I don't think the Jets even have a number 2 or number 3 corner lockdown type of person on that team, so they won't be able to guard Antonio Brown. He's still above average receiver. He's going to light him up, and Brady has no other choice but to throw to him and Gronk for the most part, so hopefully this goes out well for me because it's getting ugly on both ends, the betting and the player locks.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I do think Antonio Brown's going to have a big week, but I don't know if it can catch you up. But,
gosh, Jace, you just need one injury. He makes it seem like he's up by 50 million points. We were here before. You were up 20 points before. And then you were down.
Yeah, I was. But I wasn't up 20 points with only 2 weeks left. And you guys putting up a 0.2 performance. But all right, you doubled down on the Bucks. Joe, you're doubling down on the Titans, going AJ Brown.
Well, yeah, if they're going to beat the Dolphins, I mean, they're going to have to throw the ball to A.J. Brown because Julio Jones is, I don't know, is he still hurt? He's in COVID protocol. He's hurt or in COVID protocol. It seems like for the last month, he's on 2 of my fantasy teams, and now I hate his guts. But A.J. Brown's the man. I feel like A.J. Brown's going to be the reason that they beat those Dolphins. He's coming off a huge week on my bench with 31 points. I think he's going to do something similar this week.
Oh, Joe. I don't know. I was with you when you mentioned it before the show. But now, like, trying to rekindle stuff just because you put him on your bench, I don't know if that's going to work, man.
It's not going to work. AJ Brown's been terrible all year, but all right.
You're riding high because you're winning.
No,
it's not dignified to be all braggy and like that.
I'm not. I'm just saying.
Really,
that doesn't pay off. That's what I'm saying.
You're a humble winner.
Okay, all right. But I do agree with you. If the Titans are going to win, which I think they are, they can only really give the ball to him.
Yeah,
but
a couple of touchdowns and we're golden.
Yeah, okay.
My only problem is he's been too inconsistent all year, Joe. That's why
he has been, but now he's on a roll. The playoffs are coming, and AJ Brown's in beast mode.
He's been inconsistent because he's been injured, and he's had the same stuff as Julio Jones, like on the injury report every week. But we'll see. And Sean, sticking with the running backs, Nick Chubb against the Steelers.
Yeah, I was shocked I didn't pick Nick Chubb yet because it seems like I picked just about every running back in the league ever since my strategy started. And I almost picked Deebo Samuel this week because technically he gets some carries. I almost counted him as a running back, but the running backs got me back in this race, so I can't let them down now. And the Steelers' run defense stinks. Nick Chubb, I'm sure they're going to want to run the ball after seeing what Baker did last week, throwing 4 picks. I think they're going to want to give Nick Chubb the ball and run the offense. So, yeah, Nick Chubb, I think, is going to have a huge day. And this big matchup for both these teams. They're still somewhat alive in the playoff race, so I think he's going to go off.
I like it.
At least I hope so.
But that's going to...
He tears his ACL, they're going to blame you. I mean, he tears his Achilles, they're going
All
to
right.
They're
No
going
need for that, Zay.
Is TJ Watt healthy? I feel like he's up there with the Julio
He's
Jones
healthy.
and the AJ.
He's either got a groin
So
injury
that's gonna
or
be
he's
scary.
giving me 3 sacks. No in
Yeah.
between.
You're not wrong. They're like before last week, they were like 7-3 with him, and then whatever the rest of like what was that 3 and or 6. 6-1
Yeah.
without him.
He should be the defensive player of the year, but people are
Yeah.
obsessed with Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
Even though Micah
just
Parsons
love
is
the
a beast,
Cowboys.
but I think TJ Watt should win it.
All right. To make things interesting, I'm gonna go out on a limb here.
Not Jake Fromm.
Mac Jones against the Jaguars, showing everyone that he is the best rookie QB against the number 1 overall pick. I took a pie in the face for this man, and I've talked multiple times about him and Trevor Lawrence, but I mean he's just shown it's better. I understand Trevor Lawrence is in this terrible situation with Jacksonville, but going from Jacksonville up to New England in December, that's going to be ugly. It's going to be gross. I think Mac Jones is going to light him up. And, give me the Mac attack. Let's go. Or Big Mac or whatever.
Yeah. He won't get you 0.54 points, so good luck.
Yeah. Or he got you like negative point, like 3 or something last time he picked him?
All right, it was like 2 points or something like that. He just wanted to throw the ball. He didn't want to throw the ball. He threw the ball 3 times.
I mean, I'm sure he wanted to throw the ball.
Yeah, he didn't want to ball. I mean,
Belichick just wouldn't let it happen, and the wind was on.
The worst picks on this show in the history of the show have all come from Zay.
That's not true. There's been worse fantasy week picks. I can go back. There's been worse than that.
Dude,
Well,
you had like
I
a
wouldn't
couple
go
of like
before.
negatives.
I've had one. Relax.
Yeah, you picked Jalen Hurts against the Giants when he threw 3 picks.
I don't think you can have a negative. Jalen Hurts still had plus because I'm still in the lead. He was like
Mac Jones, Jake Fromm.
Mac Jones, Jake Fromm. I took an L. I took a risk on 2 people. I took an L.
I like
But guess what? I'll still end up higher than you 2 at the end.
No.
Yeah,
Like I am now.
No, yeah.
maybe.
I mean,
No, are you?
yeah, he is.
Oh, not by much. All right.
What?
I'll
Not by
catch up this
much.
week.
You couldn't buy 10 points
It's a
last
fight
week.
for second. It's a fight for second.
All right. Hey, still 2 weeks
Fight
left.
for second. All right, I gotta go.
You got to believe.
A fight for.
It's a fight for second with best bets and a fight for second with fantasy locks.
Can't wait till Antonio Brown has like a 40-point game and your players got nothing. And you're like, yeah, who's gonna win?
Do it. Let's make it interesting, Zay. Let's make it interesting to end the season. Let's have this last week. I know it doesn't matter for the Giants this last week, but let's have it matter for the show with fantasy locks and best bets.
I hope
Sorry.
Mac Jones only has 2 passing attempts this time.
What do you want to do to kick it up?
Yeah, let's make it interesting.
I'm game.
Let's go.
I'm game. What do you want to do to kick it up?
Well, we'll talk about that. We'll figure something out. But all right, that's gonna do it for John about the G-Men this week. Big shout out to CTBB Realty and JPEX Financial Group for sponsoring today's episode. And make sure you check out www.clovercrestmedia.com for not just more information about this podcast, bunch of other great podcasts, throwing jabs, all 4 downs, posting up, and then not even just Keys to the City, as you saw in the intro as well, but not even just sports podcasts, true crime podcast, political podcast. Joe mentioned the conspiracy theory podcast earlier. So, I mean, if you love podcasts, if you're just make your commute better to work every day, just throw on a podcast, listen to what we got to say, listen to us talk. But thank you, Joe, Zay, Sean, for joining me today. And let's just hope that next week will be a little bit better. And we can, let's just get one more win. Can we at least have one more win? One more good week? Hey, it's not going to happen. But please, come on, football gods. Please, come on.
Want it. As Giant fans, you don't want a good week.
I mean,
I want everyone else to. I want the Lions to win. I want the Texans to win. I want the Jets to win. I want the Bears to win. I want everyone to win. And I want the Giants to lose.
If we win, it doesn't hurt our draft position, though, because we're playing the Bears. So.
Yeah,
fair enough. Yeah, either way. But again, I want to see. I need the Jags to win a game. I need the Texans to win a game. I want the Lions to win a game. Let's get it going.
That'd be beautiful.
No, I mean, if there is a coach, like I talked about when the Giants beat the Raiders. I don't even remember the Raiders interim coach Basikia. So if Joe Judge can outcoach Basikia, I think he can outcoach Matt Nagy because Matt Nagy sucks. So maybe let's go. The New Year's miracle. Come on, just give me one more good week. One more good week, please. Just one more week to talk about the Giants just a little bit, and then we'll get back to the crap. Because, I mean, the crap's still coming. But,
we're begging. We're at the point of begging now.
Yes,
what Giants fans have come to. We're begging.
Yeah. Well, all right. That's going to do it. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. And we'll see you next week for more John about the G-Men.
You just got a fro going.
The Giants are running New York like the Times as Danny is dropping all sorts of dimes. Saquon's thighs are ruining defenses' lives and Leonard Williams making opposing QBs feel him. Receivers think it's scary to line up across James Bradbury, and the Giants have a bright future led by Coach Judge, Jury, and Executioner. Tune in to Drawing About the G-Men every Wednesday at 6, live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Hello, my name is Joe Aguirre. I'm the president of Clovercrest Media Group, and here at CMG we have a wide variety of podcasts, including sports shows like Keys to the City, The Roll Call, Throwing Jabs, All Four Downs, and Jawing About the G-Men, and great true crime shows like Sticky Week, Crimes and Consequences, Ivy League Murders, and Bird, the unsolved murder of David Eichmann. You can find all these podcasts and so much more by visiting clovercrestmedia.com.